All right, guys, we have an update on the economy. It is in absolute dire straits. It is falling apart at the seams. And we have a CNN report going over some polling numbers that they've got, and it is devastating.
I mean, just your costs are up versus a year ago. Groceries, 85%. Utilities, 78%. Healthcare, 67%. Housing, 66%. Gasoline, 54%. The bottom line is this. Americans feel like prices are rising in each and every single part of their lives, rising ever climber, and they just don't feel like, Kate Baldwin, that they can catch a break.
The Treasury Secretary in new comments kind of dismissed the impact tariffs is having on inflation, also saying that prices are going to be coming down in weeks. Some other prices are going to be coming down in months. What do Americans think about that?
Yeah, they think he's full of it. That's exactly what they think. I mean, just take a look here. Tariffs raising prices right now. I'm going to come over Kate's side of the screen, 71%.
How dare you?
How dare I do that? 84% of Democrats, 74% of independents, and even a majority of Republicans. When you can get a majority of Republicans to agree with majority of Democrats, you know that the pain is being felt by the American public right now. The Treasury Secretary can try and tell the people something, but they can feel in their pocketbooks. They simply put, don't buy what he and this administration is selling them when it comes to tariffs.
You know, and Harry, one thing we've heard over and over again is the president and many of those around him blaming the Biden administration for where inflation is right now. Do people agree with that?
No. No. You know what? I want to quote Judge Judy, but I'm not going to. I'm merely going to try and say that it's like they're trying to sell ice up at the North Pole when it comes to this. More responsible for the current economy. 62% of Americans say it's Donald Trump. Just 32% say it's Joe Biden. Look, Donald Trump did, in fact, inherit an economy from Joe Biden. But now we are nearly a year into the Donald Trump administration. If the Trump administration is trying to push the buck over there, they simply put, the American folks aren't buying it. They say at this point it is Donald Trump's economy, and what is happening in terms of inflation is his responsibility.
All right, so more bad numbers here. We have a Fox News poll. Views on affordability. Compared to a year ago, have your costs for item increased, decreased, or stayed about the same? And we have 4 categories here. Increased a lot, increased a little, decreased a lot, or the same. Now, here are the categories we're looking at. We got groceries, 60% say increased a lot, 25% increased a little. So that's a grand total of 85% increase. Utilities increased a lot, 41%, increased a little, 37%. Healthcare increased a lot, 39%, increased a little, 28%. Housing increased a lot, 42%, increased a little, 24%. And finally, gasoline, always touting that the gas prices have come down. That's all he's ever talked about because that's the only talking point that there's even a remote possibility of being true. Even gas increased a lot, 24%, increased a little, 29%. So across the board, every variable, every category of the economy that people have face-to-face contact with on a daily basis, most people, and this is a Fox News poll, Fox News, lovers of Republicans, supporters of Trump, showing that they are not buying the propaganda. This administration comes on the air every day and tells us how we're in the golden age, how prices have come down, while people can feel that you're lying to them. And finally, Trump's policies are making grocery prices 65% say go up, 21% say not change, and only 14% believe that Trump has made prices go down. So that's just another view of the same data that we're talking about. And one more poll I just want to stress, they showed this one on the CNN report. This is from Fox News showing that 62% of the population believe it's Trump's fault, the economy, as it rightfully should be. And only 32% are still blaming Biden. And of course, that number is only going to keep going down and Trump's number is only going to keep going up as time goes on. Mike, what do you think about the state of the economy?
It's definitely not looking good, that's for sure. It feels a little weird to say, but I think it's sort of encouraging to see other people finally sort of catching on. It sucks that obviously that we have to go that way to get those kind of results, but I know I've been feeling my groceries, my grocery bill has been going up and up and up despite getting fewer and fewer items kind of thing. And I know that sentiment's been echoed around the country. I know a lot of leftists and Democrats have been saying, hey, this is bad. And a lot of Republicans have been in denial, it seems. But based on these polls, it looks like maybe people are finally starting to wake up to it. So, what I found to be sort of the most interesting is that Fox News poll that shows like all like across the board, other than maybe gasoline, like it's an overwhelming majority that says it's increased a lot, not just a little, but a lot. So because again, if it only increased a little, okay, fine, it's a little bit of an increase, but most people think it's a lot. And as you pointed out, when you compound that with increasing a little, it's a sweeping majority, like hands down across the board, all categories.
And this is a president who said on day one he was going to bring prices down. Day one campaign promise. We're going to curb Biden's inflation and we're going to bring it back down. Well, we're a year in and ain't shit has happened. In fact, it's gone the other direction thanks to your tariffs, thanks to your ridiculous, dumbass tariffs that absolutely almost no economists agreed were a good thing. They've spiked coffee prices up alone 40%. Beef is up like double digits. So many consumer items that people buy on a daily basis just to sustain themselves are up in just significantly. And it's quite insane that the numbers that we're seeing, I agree with you, are hopeful that, hey, at least some people are catching on. But at the same time, part of me still thinks like they're way too high. How does 32% of the population still think it's Biden's fault for the economy? Like these tariffs have wrecked things insanely. I mean, they went into effect a few months ago, and people have felt the ongoing inflation that is just a natural part of the economy. But now combined with these insane market decisions that no economists agree with make any kind of sense. And, not to mention the huge economic factors we have as well, including the housing crisis we have, including AI taking all the jobs, including the median homeowner is now 59 years old. Like the economy numbers, in the broader sense are just absolutely abysmal. And this administration doesn't seem to be doing anything to curb that. And it's a little disheartening to see. The only thing that we've seen them announce recently is like the $2,000 dividend stimulus that they're going to give out like mid next year. Like, first of all, we'll believe it when we see it. And also, what is a one-time check of $2,000 going to do for the broader economy of everything going up in price? I mean, that barely covers 1 month's rent in today's world. And you're just going to give a one-time check to people. I'm sorry, but like we need bigger steps. We need bigger change. We need a new administration and a new, political party platform that's going to address the economy. Because right now it's just a one-way freight train to destruction, and it doesn't seem like there's any end in sight.
Yeah, and I want to go back to something that you mentioned about that you think it's strange that something as high as 32% would still blame Biden for this. I guess my personal theory on that would be the way that the tariffs were rolled out. There was a lot of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, we're going to do it, and then now after backlash in the after the markets crash, hey, we're not doing it, and then we're going to do it for some countries but not others. We're going to do super high on some, and then we're going to lower it over time, and we're going to delay these. So I think because a lot of people either just aren't really aware of where things stand because this has been so confusing and so chaotic, but also B, some tariffs, like the way they kind of did it was a slow rollout. They did, some tariffs were in full effect. I believe it was like steel and things like that were like pretty early on in the administration. And then now like these later tariffs have recently taken effect. I want to say maybe September, possibly August or something, but it takes a little while for people to start feeling that change. And so I think given now that the tariffs are pretty much in full effect, we're starting to feel it now, and based off of how it's starting to feel, it's only going to get worse going forward.
Yeah, and let's remind people like historically tariffs have been used very strategically to protect certain sectors of the economy, certain industries from foreign competition. That's really their main purpose. Every economist agrees with that. For example, The fact that Tesla is an American car company that's doing okay is because of tariffs on China's BYD. Another famous example is Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson exists because of tariffs on motorcycles. So historically, if you go back, 100 years back to like even before, just before the Great Depression, which a lot of people actually, side note, a lot of people attribute across the board tariffs to being the main contributing factor to the Great Depression. That's kind of a warning sign that maybe we should have heeded going into this year. But just from a broad sense, that's how tariffs have been used strategically and with good effect. But across the board, tariffs have never, ever in this country's history delivered any kind of good result. It's clear that Trump and his team didn't seek the counsel of any intelligent or knowledgeable economists on this matter, and now we're all paying the price for it.
Yeah, and don't forget he even like put tariffs on islands with only penguins lived on and things like that. It was a very reckless rollout. They didn't really seem to know too much of what they were doing. It felt very much like, where did they get these numbers from? And it's hard to fathom how this all came together. I'm no expert. I'm no economist, so I can't say too much about it on a personal note, but just seeing the news, reading what others have had to say in terms of experts and things like that, like you've mentioned, pretty much everybody said this is going to be bad, this is going to destroy the economy. No, I don't remember hearing a single person saying, hey, this is going to be like a good thing. Everybody's like, this is a tax. The American taxpayer, the American population, they are going to be the ones paying this. And I know a lot of right wingers, and they've all been in denial. Oh, this is China's going to pay it. These other countries are going to pay it. And it reminds me very much of like, hey, we're going to build the wall in Mexico and Mexico is going to pay for it. This kind of just, I don't know why they think this way, but maybe they simply don't understand the tariffs.
I do, because Trump lied to them and they believed it. Trump said China's going to pay the tariffs, and it's factually incorrect. That's not how tariffs work. So it just shows you either pure ignorance on his part, not knowing how these things work, or he's deliberately lying. It's one of the two, and neither of them is good.